Okay, so let's just test whether the system works today, because tonight I'm going to use eCam as well as PowerPoint slides with a couple of browsers pages that I'm going to share. So I'll give myself about 1 minute. When I hit 9 o'clock, I will start doing my Facebook Live. So yes, last week I didn't do it because I have some personal commitment. As a result, thank you for understanding that I did not do my Facebook Live last week. But being said, don't worry, I'm back. Okay, it's been a very slack week for me, especially after a major project is over in the mid-August. And last week, I would say that I was in a holiday mood. When I say holiday mood, it means that I'm not really in 110% effort in doing the work. I'm actually a bit lying low, uh, but knowing that it's already August, last day. Tomorrow is last day of August. Fall in the United States term, the autumn, we call it autumn, but in United States it's called the fall. Fall is coming, so therefore we need to tune up our engine to be able to move forward, because in the next few months, with a blink of eyes, you know what, Christmas is coming, and you say 2020 is over. So how many of you realize that this year is very fast? Although COVID-19 make a lot of us lock down, work from home, these are the terms that most people would be familiar with. Um, that actually gave us quite a lot of interesting epiphanies, ahas, or the way that we do our work transform lives, not just in our own country, but globally. So that is pretty interesting. So thank you for those who are watching live. So if you are watching live, thank you for watching live. And if you are watching replay, knowing that the rules is just to remind everybody, replay is available up to Tuesday at 12 p.m. Singapore time, 36. Hi James, thank you, thanks for coming. So replay 36 hours. After this, I will take it down. I will use it for my own repurposing. Okay, so if you're watching replay, hashtag replay and let me know. Thank you very much. Hi, Duncan. Hi. So tonight the topic is again coaching. So this time I'm not speaking to the coaches. I'm speaking to people like you with family like yours, how coaching can help you optimize your business and maximize your results. It's a topic that is pretty similar to what I did 2 months ago. The reason why I'm doing this topic tonight is because we have just finished our 4-week masterclass, B.A.N.K Masterclass, 7, 14, 21, and 28 of August, with one even bonus session that happened early this morning, 12 a.m. our time. Okay, and just want to touch base with most of you who have been faithfully and loyally used my link. Hi Deborah, thanks. Good morning to you. So I want to do a very nice update and a debrief with what happened in the month of August in terms of this 4-week masterclass. Just to recap some of the useful tips, insights that Sherry and the team have given us for four consecutive weeks. So by comment on the chat, how many of you actually have attended the masterclass live? In other words, live means 7 a.m. our time. I know in United States it is the afternoon. For us it's 7 a.m. our time. So how many of you actually have attended the masterclass, the four masterclasses at 7 a.m.? As I recall, the first one was about almost 2 hours. The second, third one was 90 minutes long, and the last one was about 2 hours also. It is awarded to you at absolutely no cost. Okay, just take note. These classes can be sold for $997 US. The fact that you're using my link to attend these classes means you do not need to pay anything. All you need to do is to invest the time and the time to go through the material and time to apply the materials. Okay, so this time around I would say that if you want to understand how masterclasses run this time, it is very different from the one we did in March and April, because we are not just showing you, we actually walk you through with demos of the tools that we have. At the same time, we also have support in the Facebook group, the special Facebook group that I keep mentioning, not mine, but the bank Masterclass Facebook group. So if you spend the whole month of August to deep dive into this business, you wonder why your business in the past may not be working so well. However, now the lights, the tunnels, the vision is given to you. It means that there are hopes. So the question for you is that how many of you would implement what you have learned in the masterclass? That's the key. I do know majority of the people who watch with the mindset that I want to learn the information. However, in the COVID-19 situation, it's not just enough to learn the information. Why? Because how many of you realize that when you are just absorbing the information, you will be so overwhelmed that you are not even implementing. Hi Joe, good morning to you. Thank you. Okay, so we have got 2 B.A.N.K trainers coming from United States checking out. Thank you. Thanks for watching from 10,000 miles away. So, like I said earlier on, if you are just watching these classes for the sake of watching it to learn the information, I mean, honestly, it is a total waste of time. In fact, I actually told some people who asked me, okay, can I just watch and learn the information? I said, it's a total waste of time. Because jolly well, I know that based on the patterns, based on the behaviors that I understand from them, if you are just watching and you are not doing anything with that, you will be wasting your time. Like this is like solid almost 8 hours classes. Like if you combine 4 classes together, it is 7 to 8 hours. It's like whole full day course. And the question is that, is it so overwhelming that you cannot implement? Or is it because you just don't know how to implement? Or if you don't know what to do with that, did you even ask people how to do it? Like this is also all sorts of patterns that I've seen when the masterclass when masterclass was launched first time in March and April this year. So this time around, what happened is that we want to talk about how these 4 masterclasses, like what are the key takeaways. Now, here's the question for you. If you still don't know what I'm talking about, either because you are new to me or we have not been friends, you haven't seen the feeds from Facebook on my stuff, it's okay. What I'm going to do is that I will after this Facebook Live, I will give you a link. You can still register for the masterclass, by the way. Although it's officially over, you can still register for the masterclass because with a limited period of time, you can watch all the replays. Okay, there are replays available for a limited amount of time. Okay, so this is key. You still have a chance, even though officially masterclass was over 2 days ago. Okay, so I'll give you the link for that. So I want to start telling a story. So may I have the permission to start talking about a story? So the story I wanted to talk about is something that I got it this morning. So I posted something 9 hours ago. So this morning I make a sale of make a sale of $1,400 US. Okay, so $1,400 US. And what it means is that this is because I do speak to a lot of Malaysians, so I wanted to translate this into Malaysian ringgit. Because for people in Malaysia, when they see 1,400 ringgit in their mind, they will say that it is going to be 4.4 or 4.3. $1 US is 4.3 Malaysian ringgit. It seems high, but then let's just look at this. So this sales is affiliate sales, and somehow I'm part of this campaign. So through my way of closing someone, and what happened was that I got a 40% commission of that. So it's 558.80, which is 40% of commission. And guess what? What it means is that it is 2,300 Malaysian ringgit in just 10 minutes, without any much effort to close the sales. It is a ready sale. But of course, I've done the seeding part enough. That's how I got the sales. Like, how many of you would love to like close the sales like that in less than 10 minutes? It's not even one phone call. It is just a simple WhatsApp text call. I mean, WhatsApp text close. How many of you would like to do that? Now, I'm showing you not to brag you, because I do know a lot of people don't like people bragging. There's another story for another time. So incidentally, my son, 20 years old, he's going to national service soon. Actually, after James is going, and then my son is going to. Okay, my son is scheduled for next year. So my son, 20 years old, was using my carousel account to close not just one sale actually. The day he has closed a few sales. But I asked him to actually close one sales on my behalf. And he closed, boom, 1,900 Malaysian ringgit. So let's talk about these numbers. What does it mean to Malaysians? Or for that matter, what does it mean to Singaporeans? So this is 4,200 Malaysian ringgit, which is 1 month's salary on national scale on the average a Malaysian earn. 4,200 is about 1 month's salary. How many of you would love to learn how to do that in just as quickly as 10 minutes? My son's one is pretty fast, 10 minutes, done. I wish I could be like my son at 20 years old doing all this entrepreneurial thing, doing sales online and then close the sales. Like, he doesn't really need to study hard. Like the school says, there's no need. Okay, my son is going to national service, but I don't know whether he's going to be posted. Okay, so he's going to be next year, by the way. So coming back, so what happened was that my son was pretty good in doing sales, like by one thing called conversation. Like, he has no qualms of having conversations with strangers, which means that if you understand what I've been saying about sales is a conversation, like, he has no issue whatsoever. So then I wonder, so I used what my son has done and asked myself this question. In the month of July and August, one of the most common questions I received from my students, either from Unsingapore Mastermind, Unstoppable, or some other places, is the question of how to close a sales. I always shake my head because I don't understand why that is a problem. Like, closing sales to me is no big deal. Closing is a very simple process once you understand the skill, the tools, and of course the mindset you have. So I repeat that. So once you understand the skill, the tools, and the mindset, 3 things must happen at the same time. You can master this. Like sales, unfortunately, you can't learn. Why? Because by learning sales, you are not going to do it. So you got to do something called mastery. So if you happen to chance upon my Facebook post, I think the last few days I started talking about what mastery is all about. And then you can actually check my Facebook post to take note of that. So the question I have is that when my son at the age of 20 had no issue talking to a stranger online and then do negotiation some more, it's like he's very fast. He's like, Daddy, come, let me take a picture of your stuff. And then once I gave him the password, once I gave him the items that he said he would sell for me, but bam, within 10 minutes, the sale is closed. I say, it's that fast. Like, imagine I was my son's time, 20 years old. If my daddy asked me to do this, I would push back. I would say, I'm not sure whether I know how to do this. Like, yes, it is the era for them to be very entrepreneurial. It doesn't mean that because they are 20 years old right now, they are entrepreneurial. People like us at 40s, 50s can't do that. So the common questions I get is how to close a sale. And you know what? It's very painful to listen to people when they say, my son is actually a born salesperson. Just like you guys, we all are born salesperson. It's just that maybe the environment, maybe because the conditioning we have that make us not believing we can do that. Okay, I'll talk about this, James. Thank you for that later on. So people like at the age of 40, 50 years old came to me and said, I want to know how to close the sales. And you know what? When I asked them further, what's the problem they have? The problem they have is that they don't like to talk to people. I say, why is that you don't like to talk to people? Because I don't like to talk to strangers. Okay, good. Why do you not like to talk to strangers? So this is where about half of the people will stumble upon a pause because they didn't know. But how many of you actually want to know the truth of this answer? It is the conditioning. Because my time, my parents taught to me and say, Jack, please do not talk to strangers because strangers are scammers. They are dangerous. Please avoid. Please do not talk to them. Stay away. In fact, run. When strangers come to you, run. Because of this conditioning during my time, A lot of us at my age actually face the difficulty. I don't know what's the American culture on that, but I just put myself on the line, my experience in Hong Kong way back 30 years ago. That is the situation. So if you ask me, when I'm conditioned, when I do not have this process to condition myself to be able to do what I do, then I may be one of those people asking Jack, hey Jack, I don't know how to close the sales because I don't like to talk to the strangers. It's not I don't like, it's I have been conditioned not to talk to the strangers. This is pretty interesting. So James says back in the day, my parents said don't talk to strangers. Like even James' parents, James is a young guy, he's going to national service soon. But the problem is this, even the older parents are putting all these beliefs on the next generation. And this is no wonder why there are people who are facing difficulties in learning how to sell. How many of you agree? Okay, no problem, Joe. Thank you. Thanks for checking in. Have a nice Sunday your time. And say hello to Cindy as well. Okay, thank you, Joe. Signing off. Good. Okay. Like Joe would never have this issue of, like, Joe is in the United States, he's closing big deals, like he has no issue of closing sales. So why is that? Is that a case of the cultural issue? Is that because we are Chinese? Is that because we are Asians and we are not like, it's not true, because we do have people in Asia who are able to close very, very easily. So the question is that, what is that? Okay, so this is the reason why today I want to talk about not just closing sales. I just want to start with this thing called the mindset, the skill set, and the tools. So in order to learn how to close, yes, you need to first of all learn the information where the school may not have taught you before, or maybe the parents have taught to you in a different way and you need to remove or actually revamp or push all this old information away. You need to install new information. That's the first thing. That's the reason why we have these masterclasses talking about the 6 levels of intelligences. So later we are doing a recap of this. So if you do miss the masterclass, don't worry. It is still available for a limited period of time. All I want you to do is just to relax. And I'm going to... Joe says, funny you say my prospect is a Chinese. Well, there you go. Is that a cultural issue? I don't know. Like Jack is a very no, I won't say humble. Sorry, this is a wrong word. I'm not humble. I'm quite arrogant, by the way. But Jack is a very low-profile person in Asia. And Cindy say hi, thank you. Hi, good, awesome. Both of you are good. Okay, so what I'm saying is that I'm quite a low-profile guy. Like I do not really show my face that often. Like I do this Facebook Live typically once a week to show my face, to stay connected with most of you. So then if it's not a cultural issue, then what is that? Why are so many people having this difficulty, and therefore how to close the sales become one of the most common questions I receive in the month of July and August. And I suspect if I'm not doing something to deal with this issue, guess what happened? Yep, correct. The most common questions would not just be in July, August. It could be September, October, or it can still be a question that posed to me in 2021. It's going to be a long-lasting question. The question is very simple to answer. Number one, you've got to know the new information, which I've said about 4 minutes ago, the new information. Number two, you need to have the tools. If you do not have the tools, then you can't do it effectively. What's the difference between doing effectively and doing efficiently? Doing efficiently is doing things right. Okay? You can go fast, but you can go fast to the wrong direction enthusiastically. My teacher Alex Mandossian used this all the time. However, what is doing effective? Doing effective means that maximum productivity in less time, which means that if you want to be effective, you want to do the right things, then you need to have the tools in order to make it faster in the right direction. So we have got the new information, we have got the tools. Yep, there's still a missing fact. Thank you, James, for saying this. Fear of rejection. Fear of what? Fear of success. What if I close the sales? Like, how will people judge me? See, it's not just rejection. Fear of being accepted as the master of closing sales. Like a lot of people actually didn't realize there's such a thing called fear of success. It's pretty interesting, and I talk to people, they say that it's not about fear of failure. It's not the other side. It's the side which says that what if I close the sales? What if I make a fortune? What if I'm able to close a sales like that every single day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks a month? So it's the mindset, correct? So you need to have the new information, you need to have the tools, and of course you have to have the mindset. 3 things must happen together in order to achieve what I call this tonight the Facebook theme, that is called the optimize the business and maximize your results. Okay, so let's talk about the 6 levels of intelligence. So I've got some PowerPoint slides with for some of you. So allow me to just go to my slides. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I will just go to a deep dive of the 4 weeks masterclasses. Okay, so first week is the personality intelligence and sales intelligence. Okay, so let's first of all find out what is the meaning of personality intelligence. Okay, so personality intelligence by definition is what we call decision-making behavior boils down to 4 basic buying personalities, which is what we call the B.A.N.K, the blueprint, the action, the nurturing, and knowledge. Lots of you have already discovered your B.A.N.K, so I'm not going to say any further thing. And some of you may be so fascinated with B.A.N.K and you realize that, oh my God, I now know myself much, much better. The question, however, is this. Once you know your B.A.N.K, what is the next step? Yep, on one hand, you can communicate with other people more effectively. That is the starting point because you understand yourself much better than before by cracking the code. So the new information is that the 4 personalities, if you have chance to point this, good. If you have not chance to point the crack the code activity, okay, let me do this. After this Facebook Live, I'm going to put down the link for cracking a code, and what you have got will be a 24-page B.A.N.K personality report that was sent to your email address that you have chosen. And then you can study this, you can find out more about your B.A.N.K. There are lots of things you can actually talk about B.A.N.K. So this is the personality intelligence. So in Masterclass, what we are looking at is not just the information. Like what do you know by the way of your B.A.N.K? Like what is the meaning of A.N.K.B? What is the meaning of N.B.K.A? Like what are these 4 letters about? Like it's very simple to actually look at these 4 letters and find ways to interpret or give a meaning to these 4 letters. Okay, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But when you take a deeper level of understanding, it means that this is not just about your sales, your business. So level 10, when we talk about level 10, it means that what is the highest level which we can see on personal intelligence. It means that literally in your life, you are able and you have, not just able, because when you say you are able, it means that you have the skills, you have the tools. And you have, which means that you apply, you master and you apply. You apply by cracking every single damn one's B.A.N.K in all contexts of communication. Why do we say all contexts? Simply put, because sales is sales is not a numbers game. If you have been to business class, master class, you know that sales is that's right, sales is a people game. You need to communicate with people. So what happens is that if it's not just sales, if it's just relationship, if it's just marriage, if it's parenting, every single context requires human to human interaction, which means that you need the communication. So therefore, in a lot of personality assessment tools, the starting point is always, let's discover ourselves first. So B.A.N.K does that and serves the purpose. What happens, however, is that in sales, the question is not about your B.A.N.K, it's actually about the other guys, your prospect, your client's B.A.N.K. Because Tony Robbins says, let the prospects determine your presentation. Imagine you are speaking to someone like me and you want me to buy your stuff. You must speak my language, not yours. Why? Because let's suppose that I love information and you're just pitching me an idea. You're just pitching me a lifetime opportunity. I won't buy it because I want information. And if you do not want to find out from me what I want, why I would say yes to you, then I'm sorry, you can be a master salesperson, but you'll never close the sales. How many of you agree with that? So James says it is H to H, correct. It is a people's game. So in sales, what happens is that sales intelligence is talking about application of personality intelligence. So first of all, you got to discover your B.A.N.K, and then apply this B.A.N.K insight on somebody's situation. So we say that apply personality intelligence in the sales process. Many sales courses that I know, they talk about building rapport, they talk about ask question, they talk about make a presentation, they talk about handling objection, and then close the sales. But how many of you realize there's a missing piece? So through my years of investigation, also incorporating this piece of information into my sales process. That is, I need to know how to build rapport, how to make presentation, how do I communicate with my prospect using the B.A.N.K. Because at the end, I don't want to waste my time. Remember, it's all about being effective, not being just efficient. I don't want to close the sales with a long time. I don't want to. If I can close the sale for within an hour, I'm always looking for doing the same thing in less than 1 hour. If I'm able to close the sales in 30 minutes, how about doing this in 20 minutes, 10 minutes? I'm looking for that. This is called effectiveness, doing the right thing. Okay? So sales intelligence is to apply the personality intelligence into the sales process, which a lot of people don't talk about it because they are not B.A.N.K trained. That is the problem. At the same time, you will appeal to each B.A.N.K by understanding the buying triggers and tripwires. So if you remember in Masterclass, we talk about the tripwires, which is things that they would be pissed off, they would withdraw from the sales process. And the triggers are something they love to hear. They would love to lean forward and listen closely to you. So this is what the buying triggers and buying tripwires. This is called the make or the break of a sales process. And then that's how you can close your sales in less time. I mean, understand something. If you need to spend 2-3 hours to close the sales, I want you to look at your process and ask yourself, am I able to do it in a shorter period of time? Because if you can get $10,000 commission, how many of you agree that you want to get your $10,000 commission in a shorter time period? Because what happens is that by this time you have squeezed out, you can actually do more, repeat the cycle, and actually earn more income. How many of you agree? So as a result, all I want you to realize is that sales intelligence, level 10 at the high level, means that you are a lead gen ninja who closes more sales in less time compared to your peers. If your peers need to close the sales in 45 minutes, and using something what we call the tools that allows you to be able to close the sales in say 30 minutes, 20 minutes, you are already achieving a high level of sales intelligence as compared with your peers. Good. So what happened is that in Masterclass 1 on 7th of August 2020, which is based on our time zone, okay? So what happened is that we ask ourselves, what's the meaning? Okay, let me see whether I can see that. Okay, what's the meaning of bank? Okay, so these are the questions we explore on that day. What is the meaning of bank? Okay, that's number one. Number two, how does bank factor into our lives? Do you apply B.A.N.K in all aspects of your life? It is like the red pill and the blue pill in Matrix. Okay, Morpheus asked this question. Ask Neil this question. You want the red pill or the blue pill? Okay. So in B.A.N.K, what we are saying is that Morpheus gives the choices to Neil, and Neil said that once I've taken the blue pill, I'm seeing Matrix everywhere. So in B.A.N.K context, what we are saying is that I can see B.A.N.K everywhere. So whether I'm watching a movie, whether I'm talking to someone, whether I'm communicating in written form, the first thing came to my mind is that what's the B.A.N.K? What's the B.A.N.K? What's the B.A.N.K? Is that I keep asking this question. It is through the coaching program that I've gone through in June. Like it started becoming more and more interesting to me, because this question is naturally for me to pop up now. Is that what is the banker? What is the banker? What is the banker? Wow, that guy must be speaking in a nurturing way. He's so caring for people. That guy is so heartless, cold-blooded, we call it. It must be either the B's and the K's. Okay? And some people actually said, I don't know how to connect with people. Hi, morning, Maria. Good morning to you. This is 6:30 your time, right? Okay. Is Mountain Standard Time 7:30 or is it 6:30? Can Maria let me know? Because I do know Mountain Standard Time has a shift recently. I don't know whether it's true or not. Okay, anyway, coming back. So I realized that by looking at people asking me, they have difficulty in closing sales because they do not know how to connect with people. So once they say they don't know how to connect with people, guess which banker is talking to me? Again, the B's and the K's are talking to me for sure, because the K's and the B's are the people who have difficulty in connecting with people. So it's really fun to look at all this. And finally, in week 1, the masterclass, we also ask ourselves the numbers. Like how many of you are actually, okay, so Maria says 6:30. So okay, so that's good. So my time clock is still true. Okay, so thank you for that. So we also talk about how to improve your sales numbers. And then by tweaking one variable, you can see an exponential growth because of the velocity formula in your sales results. So we talk about this in masterclass number 1. So if you have missed the masterclass, all I want you to do is remember at the end of this Facebook Live, I will still give you a link. You have limited period of time to watch the replay, which is all in the masterclass Facebook group. Okay, you've got to do self-help. I can't list the Facebook group because you've got to register first. Okay, so I'll talk about this process at the end of this Facebook Live. Good? So how many of you are excited to be the master, to reach a high level, if not level 10, but a high level of personality intelligence and sales intelligence? So therefore, what is missing? Number 1, you need to first of all understand what B.A.N.K is about. Number 2, you need to start cracking code. That's why we give you the $1 trial. So the $1 trial is going to be over tomorrow. Okay, $1 trial is going to be over tomorrow because that is the corporate management team's decision. Okay, so you cannot have this $1 trial forever. So they set the deadline as the last day of August, US time, which means technically 1st of September, our time. So you have 1 day. So again, I'll list, once you register for the masterclass, you can still take advantage of the $1 trial for the next 30 days. After this, you'll be billed the full amount, either $29, $59, or $99. Okay, it's being announced and also been discussed in Masterclass number 4 2 days ago. Okay, so you can still have this $1 trial. All right, so I'll talk about this at the end. So after you have gone through the personality and sales intelligence, the next thing that we look at is the connection, the emotional intelligence. So this is what we learned in week 2 of our masterclass on 14th of August. Okay, so what is emotional intelligence? Okay, emotional intelligence is to engage with people according to the value, which is the key to an approach high in emotional intelligence. Is the engagement with people according to the value. Okay, and emotional intelligence shows how to optimize your personal life and your professional life, your personal relationship and your professional relationships. So this is a very key. I just happened to chance upon another Facebook friend who actually shared the article from someone else talking about emotional intelligence. The EQ is very important in sales. Because how many of you realize that when you have low EQ, you might be speaking to that person the wrong thing? When I say the wrong thing, it's not necessarily wrong to you, it's just that this is the wrong context. Everything is contextual, by the way. So at the end of the day, realize that if you are able to raise and improve or enhance your EQ, even though you might be nurturing in nature, it doesn't mean that your EQ is always high. Okay, there could be situations where you exercise low EQ. So this thing is applicable to all 4 B.A.N.Ks. Of course, the case will find it harder, more difficult to improve the connection, because this is the unfortunate This is the typical characteristics of the knowledge personality. Okay? So we learn in Masterclass the definition and how does it apply and what it takes to be level 10 emotional intelligence. It means you consistently display compassion and empathy. And how do you do that? By altering your communication style based on what is best for the others. No judgment is involved. How many of you are able to do this? And by me asking another question, how many of you are consistently doing this? Like how many of you actually have one time today? Just let's say it's one time today. So I'm talking about people in Asia. It is 9:34 p.m. our time in Singapore, Malaysia, Manila. So how many of you today, or for our wonderful friends from North America, how about yesterday, Saturday, you have got a situation where you suddenly realize that you have said the wrong thing in the wrong context. And that is the low EQ moment. I did that too. I'm doing this. I'm still doing this. But the question is that, how do I improve my EQ? Very simple. I said this and I'm aware. So therefore, there's a process that we discussed in the masterclass in which you particularly how you can improve. There are 5-step process that allows you to improve, enhance, or actually raise your EQ. So again, you've missed the masterclass. If you miss this particular week, the replay is in the masterclass Facebook group. All you need is just register, go back and watch. Okay? So what happened is that we also talk about artificial intelligence. Because now that when you master your personality, your sales, and your emotional intelligence, it is what we call the B.A.N.K trifecta. Okay? But one thing that's missing in the B.A.N.K trifecta is the artificial intelligence. It means that you run your AI on all incoming and outgoing communication 100% of the time. This is AI at level 10. So let me just give you the definition of AI, which means that we are combining the intelligences from other aspects, okay, in a cutting-edge technology that pinpoints the bank codes and appeals to them in nanoseconds. That is what we call artificial intelligence in the B.A.N.K context. Forbes actually call our AI tool called Codebreaker Technology AI the futures of sales. Okay? So what happens is that when you are at level 10, this is the typo there, is not emotional intelligence, this is meant to be artificial intelligence. So level 10 artificial intelligence means that what? Means that you run every single incoming and outgoing communication through AI 100% of the time, which is why this is the time you need the tool. If you don't have the tool, you are not able to run artificial intelligence. You can't guess. Okay? Because if you can guess, you are the robot. Okay, how about that? If you can guess, you are smarter than the robot. How about that? Okay, so you do need the tool. That's why I said at the beginning of this Facebook Live, you need to have the new information, not the old one. The old ones are not helping you. You need to have the mindset. Even though you have the information, you have the mindset, it's not enough. You need the tools. Most people find that investing in tools is a total waste of money. Why? Because it costs them money to start with. Later, I will talk about why investing in tools does not cost you any money. In fact, it actually helps you make money. Okay? So I'll talk about this. But if you are using your AI running all the incoming and outgoing communications, how many of you realize that your chances of connecting with the other guy will be much higher? Right? You then are able to bankify. This is the word we use in B.A.N.K. You bankify your marketing to a specific target audiences by knowing the B.A.N.K. And you want to make sure that your message to the right market happens because of the use of AI. Again, without the tool, you can't do that. And finally, you can develop any new product or new service based on the information you gather from Codebreaker AI. Yes, sell first and create later is what I teach my students in business. It's very different from in school we say that you must buy first and you sell. Okay? I know there are people out there in the marketplace teaching some of you to create online courses. But I don't want you to create online courses for the sake of creating it. Because if you don't have a market, if you create something but you can't sell, it is waste of your time. So I'd rather sell something first. And then I will ask them, I will then create something based on what they want. How about that? Now, you see the formula is to sell something, you must know what they want, you must understand their bank code, you must understand what they truly need from you, what kind of solutions they are looking for. So, what I'm saying is that, what if you are able to use your tool to hit to the right specific target audiences with the right marketing message? Therefore, you are able to do it very effectively. Okay, yeah, it's true. Like James says, you may want to buy something, create something first. Like I've got people who learn how to build online courses. They focus on online courses building. They spend the 3-4 months to do that. I ask, have you actually sold anything yet? Not yet. I will sell later. I say, why do you mean by sell later? Yeah, because I need to create something first. Huh? What if they don't buy from you? How many of you have seen people who create something but nobody bought? Right? So don't do that. So all we are saying is that in artificial intelligence, you're using your tool to speed up the process of understanding your target audience, to have the right marketing message. And most importantly, now you have an effective marketing campaign. How many of you want that? Okay, good. So then we talk about in Masterclass 2, the two intelligences, the 5 categories of emotional intelligence. Okay, I'm not going to repeat. Okay, if you have not done this, if you have not attended Masterclass, this is what we cover in week 2. The 5 steps or 5 categories of emotional intelligence. Does Jack know? Yes. I'll give you the first one, awareness. Done. The next 4, go and figure this out. Okay, the B.A.N.K trifecta to help you to have a triple play and superpower, making you unstoppable and turning you into a modern day super duper hero. Okay, so this is what we cover in Masterclass number 2. I remember this Masterclass week 2, it was 90 minutes long. Just nice 90 minutes, not longer than that. Okay, so this is what we cover. Now in week 3, then we talk about the last 2 intelligences, the business intelligence and the spiritual intelligence. Okay, that was a week ago. So business intelligence is something that Jack has to admit. In my learning of these 6 levels of intelligences, this is the biggest epiphany for me, because this is holy grail of your business. Okay, so bring your business to peak performance using business intelligence. That means you are using data, not your gut, not your intuition, not what other people say. Using data to make decisions, to maximize the results and optimize every single aspect of your business. That's business intelligence. I do know, for example, Ryan Dice taught me how to come up with customers' avatar. Ryan Dice is my teacher, talking about how to create the customer's value journey. It's a very nice 9-step process, by the way. Okay, so for those who want to check out customer's avatar or customer's value journey, go to digitalmarketers.com and enroll Ryan Dice's course, and you will learn this. But there's one thing missing. I've never seen one course out there teaching customer's avatar in the B.A.N.K way. Why? Because we are the only one teaching B.A.N.K. What if you are able to bankify your customer's avatar? What if you are not just looking at the demographics and the psychographics? What if you are able to deduce the B.A.N.K of your customer's avatar? Would it be even more effective for you to hit the right message to the right audience? And how do you construct your right message? It's because based on the data you've gotten by cracking the code, by doing AI analysis, you came up with the conclusion that, okay, I attract, say for example, I attract nurturing personality to me for my coaching services. Let's say I'm teaching speakers. I attract a bunch of action personality to my speakers program. I got the data for me to analyze. So when I write the market message, I don't need to speak to all 4 codes. I can speak to specifically to one code, because this is the data-driven decision-making process. So what does a level 10 business intelligence looks like? You know exactly who is your customer's avatar, who is your best buyer in terms of the B.A.N.K. You know the precise preference, needs, and buying behavior, sales cycle for each of the B.A.N.K. You may not attract, for example, knowledge, And there's good news, because when you do not attract knowledge personality, you don't need to waste your time to target the knowledge. How do you know? Your data will tell you. Your data will give you all the information you need. And you use the information to make the informed decision. The interest, the commitment, the buying level, and the engagement of all current and future clients. Every single thing, business intelligence comes to play. Okay? So that's business intelligence. All right? So then we also talk about not the woo-woo thing, but it is important stuff called spiritual intelligence. It is the way to connect and empowers humanity. So B.A.N.K's mission is one world, one language. We believe that using B.A.N.K as a universal language to achieve this purpose, okay, to be able to connect and empowers humanity. The key is to humanity. The world has a lot of chaos. Okay, I'm not going there for the purpose of this Facebook Live, but I'm sure that a lot of you are able to tell that we are living in a pretty uncertain and chaotic environment, right? So all I'm saying is this. With spiritual intelligence, you are able to master the 4 levels of wealth and also keep you aligned with your divine life purpose. The question is that, do you know why you do what you do? If you are saying that I do this because of making money, then obviously you are speaking at a very low level of spiritual intelligence. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But the question is that, how do you raise your spiritual intelligence? Let's say if you are looking at level 10, what it means to you is, like there's a slide, as this slide says, is you have a defined life purpose. Okay, you know what you want in life, and make decision based on this calling, recognizing your impact on future generations to come. Yeah, so this is more or less the significance. Okay, so Dan Lok, Dan Panier, even Nido Kubain, president of High Point Universities, at least I know 3 teachers are talking about significance. Okay, it's everything about success is significance. Story I have is that in my mastermind 3 weeks ago, one person came to me and said, I don't know what I want. I say, what do you mean? Well, basically I can easily get a $20,000 deal, $30,000 deal, spending 2 days, 3 days, not a problem. Is I can make the kind of money, but it doesn't excite me anymore. How many of you actually want this kind of deals to excite you because of the money? Like, he is not moved by all this money. So basically what I did was, okay, this is a SQ. So spiritual intelligence is also known as SQ. So I asked him, so why do you want to do this? He said, I don't know. Okay, so the process requires you to ask yourself deep down, or with the help of coaches, find out your divine calling. And once you realize your calling and you have a very strong motivation to do what you want to do. And then he said, oh my God, I didn't know this. Okay, it's pretty obvious to me. Because I've been in this business long enough, like the spiritual intelligence, although it's not something that I'm used to. However, through years of personal development and clearing processes that I have gone through personally, it is not new to me. Okay, so I do know why I do certain things. Like when I run speakers training, why do I run speakers training? Well, I run something called my mentor's mentee. So why do I run a mentor's mentee relationship? I know my calling pretty well. Okay, and that's how I can move very, very fast. This is spiritual intelligence. Okay, so in week 3, the masterclass, what we have learned is to use the data to drive your business decision, and what are the 5 benefits. Okay, what are the 5 benefits? So at this point in time, if you are saying to yourself that, gee, I've missed so many things. Well, the first thing is that, well, did you actually wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, Friday, for 4 Fridays at 7 a.m. our time? It's not easy. I do understand. Like if you are from Vietnam, from Thailand, it's worse. It's 6 a.m. your time. If you are from India, oh my God, India is actually 5:30 IST a.m. So it's not easy. I do understand. But for me, I make a decision to show up live. Even though I've attended masterclass before, this is my second time. I did attend all 4 live from beginning to the end. I have not even missed 1 single second. That is my commitment after I make the decision. So most of you actually told me that you feel overwhelmed, you have lots of things to do, you are not able to do this and that, and you have to entertain so many requests, and the people ask, Jack, why can you do so many things? First of all, I'm doing the one thing at one time. At 7 o'clock till 9, I reserve my time just to attend Masterclass. And before that, what I did is I make sure I wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning because the gym at my condo unit opens at 6. So I make sure that 6 o'clock I wake up, I will be able to reach the gym at 6:10. I do my 30 minutes at 6:40. I came back to just clean my face, wash my hand, have a cup of coffee at 6:50. I log on to the Zoom, just nice. Everything in my life is planned that way. So I don't miss it. I don't see why I would miss it, by the way. It's not hard. When you have a chance to see my calendar, and please, if you have a chance to see my calendar, I invite you not to fall off the chair, because this is the purely super high blueprint calendar, and you will like, oh my god. Okay, thank you, Melissa. And that's the one thing. Yep. So therefore, during 7 a.m., 9 a.m., all I'm doing is just to participate in the masterclass. Do I check email? No. Do I actually answer calls? No. Do I actually entertain my teachers? No. It's one thing at one time. This is my guiding principles. We talk about in spiritual intelligences, the 4 stages of leadership. We talk about 4 levels of wealth. If you feel that you missed a lot, okay, I want to be very strategic with the upcoming 4 weeks. Don't watch all 4 masterclasses, but the replay one whole day. You just overwhelming. I want you to plan ahead 4 time slots, strategy-wise, 4 time slots, buffer 2 hours to watch this masterclass, and then spend another 2 hours to implement. Now, remember I said at the beginning, if you are just purely learning the information, you do not apply, you do not implement, this is a total waste of time. It is a total waste of time. So what happens is that when you have implemented something, then you see result, and once you see result, you know whether this result is working for you or not working for you. Yeah? See, Marina, you miss more by not attending. Thank you for that. Again, and then for people in Asia, I know the objection that we have is 7 a.m. our time. It's tough. The people who attended Masterclass in March said the same thing. It's 8 a.m. our time. It's tough. Well, the thing is that what is not tough in life? Right? Sometimes I don't want to beat my students on this. I don't want to rant. However, when I hear all this, I ask myself, like, how come I can do this? Is it because I'm Jack, I have superpower? No, I'm a human being. I just focus on one thing at one time. That's it. Okay, so 4 levels of wealth, 4 stages of leadership is what we cover in week 3 of the masterclass. So I'm just flashing you a few slides, and you feel once again that, wow, you have missed a lot. Well, don't worry. Remember, the replay is available for a limited period of time. How long? No idea. The replay is available. That's all I know for a limited period of time. Where is it? It is in the Facebook group. Which Facebook group? The Masterclass Facebook group. How come I don't know? Well, you don't pay attention to details. Even though I've been talking about this for 2 months. If you don't pay attention to details, I'm sorry. Don't blame other people. Ask yourself why. Is there a pattern in your life? That's what the coaches do. The coaches are not going to give you the answer. The coaches will just ask you to reflect and ask you the questions. How is it show up in other aspects of your life? When you say that you don't get what you want, ask yourself, is that a pattern in your life? That's it. It's a question that I learned in coaching many years ago. So by the way, Jack has been coaching for 12 years. Like this is my 13th year, by the way. So I learned in these 13 years, there's a very powerful question. Is that a pattern in your life? How does it show up in other aspects of your life? Go and just write these 2 questions down. You want to learn how to do coaching, you just ask these 2 questions. You just learn and master these 2 questions. You'll be very powerful and effective, because this is the key. Okay. This session is not about coaching. This session is about it's not about the coaches. It's about coaching. Okay, so let's talk about week number 4, 2 days ago, the iOS wheel. So what we are asking ourselves is that, okay, now we have these 6 levels of intelligences: the personality, the sales, the emotional, the artificial, the business, and the spiritual. The 6th level of intelligences. I want you to ask yourself, at what score are you at in all 6? It doesn't matter whether you're at 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. The key that a coach can help you to optimize your business and maximize your result is for you to be very truthful to your coach. At this point, where are you at? The famous point A that Jack has been talking about literally in every single damn Facebook Live. Where is your point A now? Because if you don't know where is your point A, you cannot move to point B. Okay, so this is the first key to take note. Where are you now? So let's say that I don't know B.A.N.K. I have no tools. Okay, I'm not ready. I don't see myself to be able to optimize my business and maximize your results. All I can tell you is that you are therefore scoring yourself pretty low in all 6 categories. Right? Some of you might say, I'm a sales master. Okay, good. So it means that in sales intelligence, you shouldn't have any problem. Okay, but the question is that how about the other aspects of the wheel? How about the other side of the wheels? Are you having a low score? So let's say you don't have a tool called artificial intelligence. Then I know your AI score will be pretty low. Even though I've been using AI for long, my AI score is not high. Why? Because I am still learning consciously to use AI to code the word is all incoming and outgoing information or correspondence. It says all. Okay, I'm not all yet, so I can't hit level 10 for sure. Okay, so artificial intelligence, I'm not on the high side too. I'm not on the low, I'm not on the high, I'm at somewhere medium. I know. Okay, so I do need to know where I stand, and likewise, you also need to know where you stand before you are able to see what sorts of strategies you need to improve yourself. Like for James, he said that EQ is your strength. Okay, if EQ is your strength, that means you are able to connect with people pretty easily. Okay, you can speak with empathy and compassion. Okay, that's good. Are there any aspects? Most people I know, when it comes to business intelligence, the scores are very low. When I started business intelligence, my score is absolutely miserable. Well, Jay, you've been in business for so long, how come you are miserable? Why do you give a score that reflects lows on the low side of BI? I said, well, you understand what is BI again. BI means that you are using B.A.N.K to identify your customer's avatar, their buying preference. I don't do that because nobody taught me, right? Until I came across the Codebreaker coaching, I went through the process, I got certified, I now know, oh my God, this is what BI is about. So then if you don't have the tool, you don't have artificial intelligence, you don't know B.A.N.K, then of course your BI will be very low. A lot of people are struggling. Oh, thank you, James. I'm not humble, I'm just low profile. Okay, how about that? So again, my point is that when you know that your scores are on low side, high side, or mid-range, doesn't matter. Nobody is going to score all perfect 10 out of the gate first time. All I'm saying is that now that you know your score, what is the next step? What is the next step that allows you to make your improvement? This is the reason why we have this thing called the coaching. How does a coach help you? Is number 1, help you identify where you are at right now. Number 2 is to talk about the strategies. The strategies that would be appropriate in the context of where you are, and hold you accountable. If you do it, awesome. Let's do the next task. Celebrate first and do the next task. If let's say you didn't do it, no reason. Just focus on result. Do it, find ways to rectify and move forward. Like you need someone to kick your ass. Like people come to me for coaching for one thing. Is that I'm a very hardcore person in terms of accountability. If you don't do the shit work, I'll give you shit. I'll make you very miserable. Why? Because that is the accountability part of me. Because people came to me because of that. I got feedback one time, 2 years ago, like why would people choose me to be a coach, I say you are fierce. I say, am I fierce? Wow. Yeah, because you are very, very straight to the point, blunt. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, I'm a very blunt person. Okay, and then Jack, you look very serious when it comes to accountability. Oh, okay, thank you, because I do project this seriousness on accountability, and that's the reason why people came to me for that. And it's a good market feedback, by the way. So you see that I actually told people 2-3 weeks ago, how do you know what your clients want? By asking the question, why do you choose me? Why do you select me as a coach? And I got the feedback from that. And then you will know. So now what's next is that, okay, you got the current score. Then all you need is to design the strategies that are appropriate to these scores. And then ask yourself, at what point, what is your target? And by when you finish your target, this is what we call the SMART goal. Okay, for those who are not familiar with SMART goals, Google SMART, SMART goals, GOALS. And you know a bunch of this acronym, what it stands for. Okay, it's not my purpose in this Facebook Live to talk about goal setting process. All I'm saying is that at the end, once you know this, and then you will know, okay, coaching is a journey. It's not a destination. Even though you said, okay, I finished one round of coaching with my coach, it is an ongoing process, because how many of you realize that there's always the next level? Like in marketing, we said that, oh, take your business to the next level. After you hit the next level, I will say again, I'll teach your business to the next level. I'll teach you to the next level. There's always a next level. Like in martial arts, after the white belt, there's a yellow belt. There's the orange belt. Depends on which school you belong to. After the yellow belt, the orange belt is the blue, the purple and green, the brown, and then the black. After black, go back to white. If you know the story of martial arts, once you receive a black belt, you are actually going back to the white. Although the belt is still black color, but in the black belt world, you're back to the white, because you are the junior. When you first receive a black belt, like when I received my black belt many years ago, I can't even remember when I received my black belt. Oh, by the way, I'm a black belt. I'm a black belt showdown from Shotokan Karate Singapore. So I'm a black belt holder, by the way. So when I receive the black belt, everything goes back to basics. I still have to punch, I still have to kick, I still have to block. Say black belt still have to go back to this. So one of my Facebook posts on this karate thing is about the white belt gives you the foundation. The black belt just happens to exercise the punch, the block, the kick in a much faster way because of this strong foundation. That's the meaning of a black belt. Done. So coaching is a journey. After you receive a black belt, so what? You will still have something called continuous journey. It's not a destination. So once you hit the black belt, does it mean that it's the end of your practice? No, you don't. So are you leveraging your power of the trifecta, which means the personality, the sales, and the emotional intelligence? The three intelligences to dramatically increase your sales and income. Are you leveraging this? So does it mean that are you using this new information? Do you have this mindset? And most importantly, do you have the tools to be able to do that? Okay? Does your bank account reflect your level of emotional and spiritual intelligence? Are you still figuring out why you do what you do? Do you still have challenge of connecting with people you don't know well? Or by the way, we call them the strangers. Okay? And finally, do you consistently attract opportunities, clients, relationships that you desire? Are you struggling with looking for clients? Well, it's not the clients only, but the right type of clients. Why? Because you don't know what you want, right? If you don't know what you want, then perhaps this is the reason. What would it mean to you for your business, your career, your life? And I'll just put one more thing called relationship. Family, in the context of family, relationship, if you were to increase your influence in every single conversation. The bank account is B.A.N.K. Okay, so thank you, James. I purposely do not put the dots there. So what the coach can do is to hold you accountable, to improve your 6 levels of intelligences in the code-breaker coaching context, to be able to make you be very familiar, be proficient, be the master of using the tools, at least step by step, not like overnight, step by step. So that the saying is that you cannot live your life without the B.A.N.K parts, which is our lead gen. You can't live the life without the AI, which is our technology. Okay? So this is what coaching is able to help you. Okay? So the call to action for tonight, I want all of you to realize one thing. Your call to action for tonight is, number 1, if you have not gone through the masterclass for whatever reasons, okay, for whatever reasons, okay, I want you to go to the link which I'm going to provide you with at the end of this Facebook Live. Go and register. Or by the way, if you have already registered, you will have received tons of emails prompting you, reminding you to attend Masterclass. Okay, so check out those emails. Make sure you join the private Facebook group, which is the B.A.N.K Masterclass private Facebook group. And then the replays are all there. I don't want you to watch the replay in one day. It is 7 to 8 hours of content. I don't want you to watch the replay by spending one full day. I want you to allocate 4 time slots. 1 time slot, 1 class. Print out the handout. There's a handout for each class, by the way. It is pretty solid. Okay? So there's a handout. There are questions asking you what you have learned. There are questions about what you plan to implement. And within the next 48 hours, I would say that maybe 36 hours because I know it's 10 p.m. our time. Within the next 36 hours, make sure you are on the $1 trial. If you have not started your $1 trial, you have the next 30 days. If you are already on your $1 trial, but you haven't used this, then make sure you understand you have the remaining days, in aggregate 30 days, to catch up and use the tools. At least use your tools to get some leads, because it is possible to get leads. I still get about 1, 2, 3, depends on which day, like leads coming from nowhere, because I've got a system in my Facebook. I've set up a system on my Facebook which I can get leads while I'm sleeping, by the way. I've gone to that level. Okay, I've got somebody helping me to build that system. So what I'm saying is that, yep. So if you are looking at my way of generating these, start small, start organic, start asking people to crack the code. You have 30 days for this $1 trial. Whether you have started, whether you have paid for it and yet has yet to start, remember it's 30 days. After this, you have the choice to either cancel it and say, I don't want this, it's not for me, or you will continue the subscription, okay, which is $29, $59, or $99. Masterclass number 4 explain all this. Okay, so this is your important steps. I want you to play catch up. Okay, I do know most people under my list are playing catch up. Why? You guys are too busy with the life. I don't know why. Okay, number 2, if you see the need to explore coaching, which is what we discussed in Masterclass number 4, I want you to private message me, ask me ask me the question, what it takes to be a coaching student of Codebreaker Coaching. Okay, so I'm a certified coach. I can do iOS coach training with my students. So if you're interested in getting coach on iOS, let me know. Okay, I'm happy to explore and see whether we are good fit. Okay, I'm not saying that I will take everybody. I want to see whether you and I are good fit working together. Number 3, if you want to be a certified coach, we have done the webinar early this morning at 12 a.m. our time, by the way, 12 a.m. our time, so I don't think anyone in Asia will be watching this. So if you want to seriously consider becoming one of us as a certified iOS coach, the investment is not small. It is quite huge. To Asian standard, it is huge. However, the payoff is pretty good. Okay, so if you want to explore that, private message me. I'm happy to discuss with you what it takes to be a certified coach. But I need to make sure that you are able to afford the investment, because it's not a $1, $2 thing. It is a high ticket item. Okay? So no matter where you stand, what you want, you can always have a conversation with me so that I know what I can do to help you. Okay? I just want you to not remember this. All I want is, I don't want you to pay $1 for the tools and not use it. I don't want you to have the link, say I want to watch the masterclass, but you have never done this. How many of you have bought books before? How many of you have bought courses before where you did not even touch it? Do you think about it? Like, why do you spend money on something but you don't do anything on this? Why? Is it because you have a lot of money? I don't think so. Is it because you have a lot of time? I don't think so. Why? Is that a pattern? That you loved to buy something first and you don't worry about whether you implement at all. And that's why I'm working with so many people right now who are complaining. They spend so much money with event producers, those big ones especially. After attending one class, they go for another class, but nothing happened. Why? They just attend classes. So make the event producers rich. Okay? Self-help, thank you. James, well said. Self-help, not self-help. Self-help. The shelf is full of these books. The hard disk is full of courses, right? So you make the event producers rich and you stay broke because your bank account, the money is just leaving your bank account day by day, month by month. And one fine day when you said that, how come I don't have a lot of money? And you start wondering what the heck you've been doing in the last 3-5 years. Then you notice that a lot of people that I know, they attend courses, but they do not do anything. Are you a master implementer? Are you an implementer in the first place? Or are you willing even to implement one thing, one small thing that makes a difference? Because once you implement something, there is a result. Like in this coaching, we say that well, the investment is $14.99, $14.99 US. So the first thing the Malaysian will do is to convert this to 4.4 and say, oh my God, this is 7,000 ringgit. Wow, so high ticket, so expensive. The moment you condition yourself at 4.4 and say it's expensive, it is where you will get stuck for the rest of your life. Because I've just shown you my son, 20 years old, had no issue of closing sales. What is the 1,400 or 1,499 to start with? Right? If you think that it is an expense, it is expensive, you don't spend it, you don't get the skill, you don't get trained, what happened? Nothing will happen. And then you get stuck for the rest of your life. My son has no issue with that. My son can close, my son can actually speak to strangers, okay? And meet the strangers to close the deals. So, what's stopping you from doing that? I have no idea. I have zero idea. I'm just saying that if you are complaining about not having the results you want, if you are looking for ways to turn around, and if you see that investing is a cost, investment actually is an expense, then I'm sorry to say that you won't make it. Okay? I want you to realize that investment is something that by doing something, you get the result, and what we call return on investment. Result on investment. ROI can be return, but most importantly, the more realistic one is result on investment, ROI. Okay? So thank you, James, for talking about environment. You have your coach to hold you accountable. You're not going to work by yourself, work alone. You have someone to hold you accountable, to watch your back, making sure that you progress. And therefore, when you have the result, what is that $14.99? Okay, I want you to really think deep about this, because I do know there are people who see $14.99 as an expense. They decide to invest, knowing the pattern. No matter what, they will still not do anything. And then at the end, when they don't get results, they go and blame the program provider and say that this is a scam because it doesn't work. And then coaching is never ever something like that. Why? Because coaching is a two-way traffic. Coaching is all about two-way traffic. It means that you have to work in order for the coach to be effective. And the coach has to put you in the spotlight, in hot seat, for you to really do the work. So once you do the work, there will be result. There will always be result. Like people ask, like, how come there's no guarantee? Well, the guarantee is that if you don't do the work, nothing will happen. If you are willing to do the work, something will happen. Is that something you want? I don't know. That's the one that I cannot guarantee. Which is the reason why most people, when they pitch on coaching, they talk about, oh, if you come to me, you'll be able to make millions of dollars. That's never what our IRS coaching can do. Our IRS coaching will not even pitch that says that, well, by doing this, you'll make millions of dollars. No, there's no such thing, because we cannot guarantee. We can only guarantee one thing. If you don't do the work, nothing will happen. If you are doing something, something will happen. And now what is the something? Something is always the results. Is having result better than no result? Your call, you decide. Okay? So the call to action one more time is that I will put the link for those who have not registered for Masterclass. This is for you. If you have not registered for the Masterclass, it's over, but the replay is still available in the Facebook group. Okay? In the Masterclass Facebook group. Please register. Allocate 4 time slots to watch the replay, the 4 weeks replay in 4 different time slots. Okay, and implement. That's the key. If you got the link, go back to the link, make sure you're in the Facebook group and access the replay. Watch. You have 36 hours to make sure that you have the $1 trial offer. If you haven't ever paid the $1, you have one more time, the last 36 hours to do that. If you have already paid $1 and you just need to know when is that $1 over, you have 30 days in aggregate to use the tools to get results. Okay? Please do that. And finally, for those who are interested in taking the next step, either as a coach or coaching clients, you can private message me and let's find a time, talk about your situation, and see whether this iOS coaching is for you and whether we are good fit working together. Okay? I'm not selling you anything, because even though you throw money at me, I can choose not to accept you, no matter what. Return on investment, ROI. So Maria, return on investment is the common term for ROI. My take is that it is called the result on investment. ROI to me is result on investment. Do you get result? Once you invest in me, in my coaching program, do you get result? So that is my ROI. My ROI, the R is result, not return. Because I can't guarantee a return. But I know that if you don't do the work, you have no result. But if you are willing to do some work, there will be a result. That is my result on your investment. ROI guarantee. Okay, it's a bit profound. Okay, result on your investment, James. I like to use the word result on your investment. So ROI, result on your investment, or result on investment. Okay, so that is my jargon. Okay, good. So with that, that's all I have for all of you for this Facebook Live. You have got 36 hours to watch it if you want to watch the replay. And then they will be taken down on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Singapore time, or that would be 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 9 p.m. MST, PST on Monday night. Okay, the fastest I can work out on all these different time zones. Alright, so with that, I will see you in next Sunday's Facebook Live. And by the way, for those who are watching live, I want you to do me a favor. Put down one thing you have learned tonight. What is the biggest takeaway of this Facebook Live you have learned? And for those who are watching replay, awesome. Hashtag replay and let me know what's the one biggest takeaway you have in this Facebook Live. Okay, thanks Maria, thanks for checking out, and I would like to acknowledge James for commenting for the whole Facebook Live. I know that tonight not many people are showing up, partly because I didn't do the Facebook Live last week. That may be the reason. Okay, I will also want to acknowledge Deborah and Joe, and two wonderful peers from the US, B.A.N.K trainers, for supporting me as always. Okay, so for those of you watching replay, see you again. Thanks for watching your replay. 36 hours time limit will start now all the way to Tuesday 12 p.m. Share with me one biggest takeaway, and I'll leave the links for you guys to register for the masterclass. Make sure that you subscribe to the $1 trial. Make sure that you join the Facebook group. Okay, yes, Maria, that is a new one. There's always new thing coming from me. ROI. You can actually use that pitch if you want. Feel free to use what I have shared here. No problem. Okay, thank you, Deborah. Thanks for watching. Okay, good. I'll see you next Sunday night. Jack Wong here, signing off, and all good wishes.